Welcome back. It's the Premier League preview with sportsbet.io. We're going through the rest of the Premier League games this weekend. Got Paul Robinson and Neil Mellor alongside me to go through. Starting off with the 3 o'clock games. Everton against Crystal Palace. Why not start with a corker like this? Neil Mellor, I know you love the Blues. Positivity, though. They're getting taken over properly this time against a Crystal Palace side whose owner was going to take them over, but it's not him who's going to lead Everton into that new stadium. But in their current stadium, Neil, they need to start winning games at Goodison Park and stop giving away leads.
Yeah, it's the last season at Goodison. I backed them to beat Leicester last weekend, and they took the lead again, and they couldn't hold on to it again. The positive for Everton was they didn't lose that game. I think they're playing all right, Everton. So I'm looking at the way they're playing. It's not like they're getting battered every week and you're thinking they've got no chance. So again, I'm looking at this one thinking they've not won a game. Palace haven't won a game so far this season. This could be the game where Everton get that win. They have to sort themselves out defensively. And you would think with Sean Dyche, he will get them sorted out eventually to start getting these clean sheets. 1-0, 2-0 was a popular scoreline for Everton at home last season. And this is the sort of game where you're thinking this could happen. I think with Palace, you've got Eze, who's a real talent. I think they might have the odd chance. I think they waste too many chances, Crystal Palace. But this is the one I'm looking at where Everton get that first victory of the season at home to Palace.
Paul, you've seen Palace recently against Manchester United. They were decent in that game. You think they possibly could have won that game? Or could have lost it as well?
Yeah, they had the chances to, but they've got a decent record against United, haven't they? They didn't win one of the first 20 games in the Premier League against United. But I think it was 5 out of the last 10 that they've won. So they had a little bit over them. It was a decent performance against Man United. Drawn too many games for me, Palace. You look at the Leicester game at home, a game where you'd fancy that they should win. But then the Chelsea game away from home was a good draw. So they're a team for me that just haven't got going yet, Palace. Drawn too many games. Beat QPR in the Cup. But I think that Everton, like Neil, I watched Everton at Aston Villa, and there was a big clamour about them giving away a 2-goal lead again, going 2-0 up, losing a 2-goal lead, the same as they did against Bournemouth. But that wasn't the same type of performance at Villa. There was a different type of performance there. I think it was a good away performance. They had the opportunities, by the way, with Dominic Calvert-Lewin, 2 1-on-1s. They should have gone 3-1 up, and they should have made it 3-3 at the end. So the opportunities that they're creating are there. Again, it's not going to be pretty. Again, the Leicester game was never going to be a pretty game. And I can't imagine until they get out of trouble, it's going to be very pretty. And they'll make no apologies for doing that. It'll be set plays, it'll be tight. But I think, listen, they've got to start at some point, and I think this is the game where they do get off the mark as well.
Okay, so start with you then, Paul. What is the score in this one?
2-0. A very early goal, a horrible cagey game, and then a late one from a set play. 2-0 the Toffees. 2-0
the Toffees. Neil Mellor.
Yeah, I've got them down for a clean sheet as well. They had 17 shots at Leicester last week. I think they'll score goals this season. Can they get that clean sheet? I think they will this time. I'm going to go for 1-0 for Everton. Popular scoreline over the years at Goodison.
1-0. 1-0 to the Blues is the scoreline on that one from Neil. Starting with you on this one. Actually, then we'll go to Paul for Arsenal against Leicester. Leicester, of course, in that game against Everton last week, got themselves a point. And a feeling about Leicester... Well, what is he feeling about Leicester? I mean, they've still got goals in. There's Jamie Vardy still up front. They seem to be having a go, at least, and they'll have to have a go at Arsenal if they're going to get a win.
Well, he's bang under the pressure, isn't he, Steve Cooper, already? There's a huge section of the Leicester fans that are turning against him, especially after the disappointment of the performance against Walsall in the League Cup. I know they got through on penalties, but actually there's a nucleus of Leicester fans who... Listen, the Leicester fans have been spoilt in recent times. You look at where they've been. The FA Cup win, the Premier League win, the success that they've had. Okay, they've got relegated and bounced back. But you ask a lot of Tottenham fans, would they take what Leicester have had in the last few years with the success that they've had, the trophies that they've had? There's a lot of teams that have swapped places with Leicester. But I think there's maybe a little bit of delusion of grandeur at times with them as to where they are. They've got relegated. They've lost a lot of players, lost a good amount of players. They've brought players in. Okoli, I think he's a good player. I think he'll eventually be a top Premier League centre-half. But I do think they do lack goals. I think they were poor against Everton. They got away with a draw. They were poor against Tottenham. They were really outplayed in that game. And I just think it's the performances that they've put in that the fans aren't overly pleased with. Steve Cooper's got a big job on his hands. Going to Arsenal this weekend, it's a thankless task, isn't it? This one is your absolute banker of the weekend. If if this blows your coupon up, you're going to have to go back in again. Can't see anything but an Arsenal win. They look so strong, don't they? The performance against Manchester City last week, absolute terrible watch. Hated it. Second half, it was just anti-football. It was horrible. But they found a way. I mean, I think everybody sat there watching it who wants a decent Premier League title race or wanting Arsenal to hold on. But anybody who enjoys football and enjoys the game of football just wanted Manchester City to score at some point. It was just complete anti-football for the second half. I didn't enjoy watching it at all. And what started off to be a really good game in the first half until Trossard got sent off. But listen, that's on the flip side of that. It shows Arsenal's strength. It shows their resilience. It shows that they've not got that soft underbelly, that they're a different side. Listen, Leicester don't pose them any problems this weekend. Like I say, Leicester get anything, it blows everyone's coupons up.
Yeah, Neil, Arsenal maybe of 2 seasons ago, maybe 18 months ago, might have given away an early goal in this game or something. Was still come back. Their home record is excellent, isn't it? And you can't say that 1.17 or around that they are to win. This is not the right price.
Yeah, I mean, home banker. So I was thinking, how can you get some value? Clean sheet and maybe a goal scorer for Arsenal as well. What surprised me was Leicester have played 5 Premier League games. They've scored in every Premier League game so far this season. I'm surprised at that. And I don't think that will continue this weekend. I think Arsenal get the clean sheet. Made a load of changes in the League Cup, 5-1 win against Bolton. Havertz is a player I think at back. He's scored in his 2 home Premier League games so far this season. 5 in 5 at the Emirates for him. So he's a player I'd be backing to score. Arsenal to win comfortably. They are the real deal, Arsenal. Arsenal will go all the way in the title race again this season. Really do believe that. Arsenal to win comfortably. Clean sheet. Havertz to score. My score is 3-0 for Arsenal.
3-0. Talk about playing the kids. They're 15 and 16-year-olds around in midweek playing for Arsenal at school in this morning as we're talking. Paul, what's the score?
Yeah, well, whatever Mel's was going, I was going one more, so I'm going to go 4-0 Arsenal. One interesting stat under Mikel Arteta, though, the red cards haven't stopped. You'd expect that they might have done, but 17 red cards in Arteta's reign. So at some point this season, you're going to get value in red cards for Arsenal. Not so sure there's going to be many in this game. I think this will be a pretty non-event. I think Arsenal will win this coast comfortably 4-0.
4-0 Arsenal is the score there. Okay, moving on to Brentford West Ham. Neil, you saw West Ham in midweek go to Liverpool and get royally trounced, but they scored first. They had to go. But what are you making of West Ham under the new manager?
Need a win desperately. Slow start. Fans haven't been happy with what's happened so far. Well beaten last weekend against Chelsea. What I would say in terms of the team news at Anfield, they made 7 changes and 2 of the best players they have, definitely the best player they have. Paquetá was on the bench and Kudus. I think if you're looking at West Ham's best team, them 2 play. Bowen did play in the game, who's another one who's outstanding for them. So they will all play this weekend. And this is a game where they just have to win this game. I don't think a draw would be good enough. I think they have to go there and get a victory. They need to lift from somewhere. Even if it's a lucky win, whatever it is, they have to try and find a victory. Brentford won't be an easy game. I think Brentford are a side who will be inconsistent, this season. There'll be some good wins, some draws, mid-table. I think they'll be well clear of relegation. But West Ham need this victory more than Brentford. And I'm on them to win. I think because of the 7 changes, that big defeat, I think this is where they get a decent result and just get a victory. Kudus is a player back, though. Kudus hasn't scored. He's got, 1 in his last 17 games, Kudus? He's a decent player. He's better than that, 1 in 17. So I'd have Kudus to score and West Ham to win.
Brentford loving life at home again in the Premier League, and it is your proper Premier League difficult place to go. And West Ham, Paul, may well find that again. They've had some difficulties on the road, Brentford, but they do like playing at home.
Well, they've had difficulties on the road, but when you look at the start they've been to the Etihad, they've been to Anfield, and they've been to Tottenham. So 3 difficult away games. As you know, it's the Premier League, so you've got to play them at some point. But they've had a really tough start, those 3 away games, obviously losing all 3. But actually the home win against Southampton, the Community Stadium is not an easy place to go. Some against Tottenham, they were a little bit more than just a rigid, structured team with set plays. They've got pace on the break. The players in that team. And Buemo, the big miss for him will be Wissa. Wissa missed the Tottenham game. He's going to miss the West Ham game as well. West Ham, it's just not started for me with West Ham. I'm surprised. Fulkrug's been injured. I liked Lopetegui going in there. I like the recruitment that they've got. just find it frustrating. It really frustrates me that managers rest so many players in the League Cup. Now, you get West Ham fans moaning now but I put Tottenham in this bracket. I put other clubs of the similar ilk in that bracket. What else are you going to win? Be realistic. What else are you going to win? You're going to win the League Cup or the FA Cup. Maybe an outside chance of a European Cup if you're in it. West Ham are not in it. Why are you resting players in the League Cup? Play your strongest team. Go and try and win a trophy. Give the fans a memory. Look at those West Ham fans when they won the Europa Conference League. What a memory. What an incredible day for the fans. What an incredible journey for the fans. But the likes of Tottenham, West Ham, others that are sitting mid-table, the way the managers rotate the teams in the League Cup and the way that it's dismissed, it really frustrates me because realistically, what else are you going to win? Have an opportunity. Give the fans something to win. But saying that, back to the Brentford game, I think Brentford will win at home. I think they've made their home games important because of the start that they've had away from home. I'm on a Brentford win. I think they're going to beat West Ham 2-0 at the weekend.
Both teams' scores landed in 4 out of 5 Premier League games for both of these sides this season. Over 2.5 goals in 4 out of 5 of Brentford's. Neil, what's the score?
Yeah, I've got West Ham to nick it 2-1 away win. Might surprise a few that one, but they need it desperately. And they've got the players who can go there and get the win. So 2-1 away win.
Going for the away win. Are you sticking with the home one, Paul?
2-0. 2-0 Brentford.
2-0. There you go. That's your score for Brentford West Ham. Another 3 o'clock game on Saturday is Forest against Fulham. Nottingham Forest, who are going all right, Neil. I mean, Forest look nicely mid-table, if not a little bit higher, the way they're going at the minute.
I think it's sort of misjudged how good Forest would be this season. I think you look at the recruitment, I think brought in some decent players there, the likes of Ward-Prowse. They've got players who can cause problems in the final third, Pace, Alanga, Hudson-Odoi, Gibbs-White, who will be suspended for this game, and Chris Wood, who knows where the back of the net is. So a solid Premier League side, yeah. They've started really well. And again, you're looking at this and thinking, I don't think they'll lose. But Fulham are the sort of side that can go there and get a point. Good win for Fulham last week. Yeah, look at Fulham. I really like the manager. I think he's a real strength that they have. And that was a good victory against Newcastle. So I can't see either side losing this game. So I'm sitting on the fence for a draw for this one.
Yeah, Forest to 5 unbeaten. Fulham just behind them in the table, Paul. They were unbeaten in the last 4. They lost at United first time out. Again, two sides who are sort of on the up. Fulham, you might expect to be around here, but again, going well.
I was all on a Forest win until Mel's just reminded me that Gibbs-White was suspended. He's been a top player for them, hasn't he? He's a key to everything that they do. Sits in that 10 role, pivots everything. He's a top player. Forgot he got sent off last week. But yeah, Fulham, they are what they are, aren't they? They're going to pick up some good wins at home, like they did last week against Newcastle. They've got some good players in there. Pereira's stepped up this season after losing a couple of players. It's the goals for Fulham. Munez, Jimenez, is it Iwobi, Traore? Are they going to score enough goals away from home? But Fulham are. I think they're the ultimate Premier League test for the newly promoted teams. They're the kind of benchmark. You know, like when Ipswich, Southampton come up, it's how you get on against the likes of Fulham, who have proven to establish themselves in the Premier League and be a tough nut to crack. They know how to get results. As I say, I was all on a Forest win after the decent result of Brighton, the win at Anfield. I thought they'd go at the City ground and beat Fulham. Now I'm just thinking, do I change my mind because of Gibbs-White or do I stay on a Forest win? I'm sticking with it. 2-1 Forest.
2-1 Forest. There you go. Neil Mellor.
Yeah, Fulham haven't had a clean sheet yet. I don't think they will. I'm going for a 1-1 draw.
A 1-1 draw between Forest and Fulham. The evening kickoff, the 5:30 UK time, is Wolves against Liverpool. Liverpool going there in pretty decent form. Let's not talk about the Forest game, but Neil, they're up against a Wolves side who are not in good form at all. It's going back a long way now, isn't it? Gary O'Neill must be looking at things and thinking, how do I turn this round, and have I got enough time to turn it round? And here's Liverpool.
Yeah, everyone keeps saying about losing Kilman and Neto, two key players. Still a lot of quality at Wolves. What I would say is the last 2 games have been competitive. The one against Newcastle at home, 1-0 up till late on. They end up conceding 2 late goals. Shouldn't have lost that game, but did lose the game. And again last weekend against Villa, 1-1 till 2 minutes to go. They end up losing a couple of late goals and lost the game. So they've been competitive for the majority of the game, but not getting results. Conceding too many goals. it is a big concern at the moment for Wolves. It really is. And then you've got Liverpool coming into town, who made 9 changes against West Ham and still scored 5 goals. There's a real feel-good factor at Liverpool at the moment, and going to Wolves should be a away victory. But you just never know. You never know. Wolves could get an unlikely, and it would be unlikely, top performance to get something from the game. They have a poor record against Liverpool. 1 win in 15 Premier League games against Liverpool. That's all they've managed. I think Lopetegui was the manager, for Wolves. Last time that Wolves beat Liverpool in a 3. That was one of the worst Premier League games I've seen for Liverpool. There was Olays at Molineux. It was just like, whoa, what's going on? We were Premier League champions a couple of years ago. Anyway, just before Robbo gets his little say on this one, question for you both. Last time it was 0-0 was 2010. Not going to ask you who the goalkeepers were. I'm going to ask you who the managers were. 2010, Wolves v Liverpool. Who were the managers? Liverpool may be a bit easier than Wolves.
Oh, are we between Rafa and Dalglish? Rafa.
Rafa's Liverpool, the obvious
Rafa
one.
Benitez, yeah.
Go with your instinct.
Mick McCarthy.
Go with your instinct on this one.
Mick McCarthy.
Nailed it.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. What a comeback this has been in this. Oh.
There you go. Last time there's a nil.
I couldn't name another Premier League Wolves manager, really, to be fair. But there you go. Mick McCarthy. What a performance I'm putting in today. Okay, so Paul Robinson, we're talking Wolves-Liverpool. Wolves 7.5, Liverpool 1.36. The draw is 5.5. What, if anything, can Wolves get out of this?
They need a performance and they need to come out of it unscathed. I mean, they're not season-defining games, are they? These are games where they look to get a point, you look for a performance and you look to try and get something. Gary O'Neill won't tell you that, but actually when you've been realistic, a game against Liverpool, a game against Man City, a game against Arsenal, they're not going to define Wolves this season home and away against those type of teams. It's the games against Villa, the games against Forest that they've not picked up the points where that's where they'll fall down. I mean, sat bottom of the league and 1 point. It's not been a good start. And the last team you want to play is Liverpool, home or away. He needs, listen, if they pull out a performance this weekend, it'll be a bit like the Arsenal-Leicester game. It'd be a real coupon buster, wouldn't it? Nobody will back Wolves this weekend. You're backing Liverpool, how many and who scores them? And I think that's the case. But I think Gary O'Neill, he really needs a performance from his team. He needs them to put in a shift and to come out of this without being soundly beaten. I mean, that sounds harsh. We're talking about 2 Premier League teams. Wolves are capable. I like Gary O'Neill. I like Wolves. Every time I go there, I always think they've got a good record at home. But actually, I look at the stats. It's not that over. It's not over the top. I mean, I always go on because every time I go, they seem to play well. I enjoy going. They've got a good team. But actually, when you look at the record, they're going to struggle at home against Liverpool. Hard to make a case for them. Change the formation. When he goes back to a 4-4-2, that's kind of back to the drawing board. Sam Johnson's a good acquisition for them. Can't see him getting anything. I think they'll be all right this season, Wolves. I think they've got a fight on their hands, but it doesn't start this weekend. I think it's Liverpool and Liverpool comfortably.
Talking goalkeepers, how lucky are Liverpool to still have Caoimhín Kelleher? Because quietly, he's put in a couple of really good performances, in good Liverpool performances. But there was a save late on at the weekend where he clawed it off the line and managed to get it out of the penalty area, which was an incredible thing for the goalkeepers able to do. And then I think Neil, in midweek, he pulled off a couple of decent saves as well. He's stepped in, Paul, when Alisson's not there, and Alisson is quite frequently not there these days.
Well, that's a big thing for him, and he's playing for himself now because the way that the club, the Sam Mamardashvili gone back out on loan. If he's coming into the club are obviously looking elsewhere, and they don't see him as the long-time successor to Alisson. But he's actually showed a great mental strength of being able to go, right, okay, I'm there for another year. I want to go out. I want to play. I thought I was going to be Liverpool's number 1 further down the line. Does he want to stay and challenge for that jersey? We don't know. Maybe he does. Maybe he sees an opportunity this year with the amount of games that he plays to show the new manager that he is actually the man in waiting for the gloves. But the way it looks for him in his future, he's showed a big amount of character, mental strength to go, do you know what? I'm going to go in. I'll show people what I can do. And he's playing for himself, whether that be at Liverpool or whether that be elsewhere. And it's character building for him. And it shows a strength in character that he's able to do that and put in the performances, because there's quite a lot that would go, you don't want me here. I'll be moving on. All the times that I've been here for this long, I've sat on the bench, I've played minimal games, I've been a number 2 for so long. I've been a good deputy, a deputy that doesn't cause you any problems. I've stepped in, I've done more than enough. I've done, ability-wise, he's more than good enough. but then the club to go and sign somebody else and go in a different direction. You could understand why he might have, for want of a better phrase, thrown the towel in, but he hasn't, which is very, very good for him personally, because people who are looking at him, there'll be plenty of suitors looking at him, they'll be going, good character, good lad, we'll take him.
Yeah, not just Premier League as well. I think around Europe they might be looking at Caoimhín Kelleher to be a number one goalkeeper somewhere, and he will be in the sticks for Liverpool, we presume, since Alisson's still out against Wolves on Saturday. Paul, what's the score?
I don't know if I give Wolves a goal. That's the only question that I'd give. Wolves, they had a decent performance at Villa, but ended up getting turned over 3-1. I'm going to go for the same scoreline, 3-1 Liverpool.
Oh, he said 3-1 Wolves there. 3-1 Liverpool, he says. Neil, what are you saying?
Yeah, Kelleher has made some big saves at key moments. 0-0 against Bournemouth, massive save with his knee to stop Semenya. If they score the first goal, it could be different. And again, the other night against West Ham at 2-1, he made a brilliant save from Antonio. Again, 2-2, might have changed the momentum of the game. So I think he'll have to make a couple of saves. And Alisson's close, by the way. Alisson may well start in this game. That's not a given. He's out for this one. He's close. Liverpool just to win it. Not a big win, just do enough. I do give Wolves a goal, though. 2-1 away win.
2-1 to Liverpool. Okay, moving swiftly on to Sunday's games between Ipswich and Aston Villa. Neil, this feels very 1982, but it's nice to see Ipswich against Villa. I was only 2, but still, it's a classic championship game. I don't know even that. Division 1, let's call it that. But Ipswich against Villa should be entertaining. The two sides who, again, should have a go, and it should be a pretty good atmosphere at Portman Road.
Ipswich killed me last week. I had them down to lose 1-0. 95th minute equaliser from Mawson. What was that all about?
I know, late Ipswich goals. This was a factor in them getting into the Premier League, wasn't it? And if they start scoring late goals again, this is where they'll get on a run, and it might be something to have a bet on. But they scored countless goals in 95 and 96 minutes last season.
The problem they'll have is if they're still in the game. I think there'll be too many games where they're out by the 90th minute. They've had 3 draws, which you'd say is okay. They need to find a win. And home games will be crucial for that. Is it a good time to play Villa? Villa are playing Bayern Munich next week. Will there be a couple of thoughts looking around thinking, what a game that's going to be? Bayern Munich at home. Wow. Villa Park will be absolutely rocking. So you're thinking it might be a good time to play Villa. But I think we're all thinking this is a banker away, aren't we? Looking at Villa, the way that they've been playing, the way they score goals, made a load of changes midweek in the win at Wickham. Yeah, I think Villa will be too strong for Ipswich and get a comfortable. I think this will be a comfortable away win. Yeah, I do think this. I've got a 2-0 away win.
2-0 to Villa. What are you thinking, Paul?
Yeah, that's exactly what I've got written down for all those reasons. I think the Ipswich are going to have tests through the season, and they're going to come up against Premier League sides obviously every week now, which is different for them. And Villa are a good Premier League side under Unai Emery. The personnel they've brought in, balancing the Champions League is going to be interesting to watch how they go. Good win last time out against Wolves. Saw them at home to Everton. Had a lot of the ball, a lot of character. Very good first win in the Champions League. Yeah, Villa too strong for me. I've got 2-0 written down. I'm going to have to stick with it. 2-0 Villa.
2-0. Big week for Villa next week. It's Villa Bayern, the Alan McInally derby. Big week for him. To Bournemouth, Southampton, Monday Night Football on the South Coast. It's not a derby. Or is it? Paul Robinson, what are you thinking, Bournemouth, Southampton?
Why is it not a derby? Surely it is. I mean,
well, they say always it's only on the South Coast. It's not really a derby. And Southampton's derby is Portsmouth, isn't it? They always say we don't care about Bournemouth, but it's the one closest to them in the league.
And Brighton claim that Crystal Palace is their derby, the M23 derby, whatever.
That's the Mellor family fault. That's his problem. That goes
40 miles apart, aren't they?
Needle still exists on the M, whatever it is. What do you think?
Was it the M23?
M23 derby, that's it. Yeah.
We're going to have to find out because I'm going there for Brighton Tottenham, so I'm going to have to find a way. It's a long way for me to get down there.
It is a long way. Get the train. It's a lovely way to go. Anyway, Bournemouth Southampton, other than trying to work our way around the country. It's not a derby, but it might. They've not played for a while, so there might be a bit of something in this.
Yeah, there's going to be a bit of something in it, isn't there? And these are the games that Southampton are going to have to get some points from. Bournemouth disappointed last time out, 3-0 against Liverpool. Lost at home 1-0 narrowly, didn't they, to Chelsea? But it was a good performance. I think for 60 minutes they had the better of the game against Chelsea. I like Bournemouth. I like what he's doing with them. And I think at home they're a different proposition. Southampton, for me, they just give too many chances. Where we talk about this every single week, whether it's about Russell Martin, whether it's about the Russell Martin brand, about him getting another job further down the line in the same way that Vincent Kompany's done. But for me, the way that I watch Southampton, it just stinks of what Burnley did last year with Vincent Kompany. It's really stringent in the way that they play, adamant on playing out from the back, taking chances when they're coming up against teams who are better at it than they are, and they know how to press them, and they know how to get the ball off them. I just struggle to, when you look at, I understand the playing out from the back and the pulling players out of midfield and breaking through teams and breaking the lines and the opportunities that it gives you. But when you're a team like Southampton, I don't know if that outweighs the times that you put the ball at risk and you put your own goal at risk. I think there's an element of that at times. And I'm not saying lump it, I'm saying put your fullbacks higher up, go into a front man sometimes, go into fullbacks higher up the pitch, make the opposition sit off, just have a different way of playing rather than putting the ball at risk and your own goal at risk every time. I'm not so sure the amount of times they break lines benefits what they do as to putting their own goal at risk. So after all that rant about playing out from the back and they're not good enough to do it, Bournemouth win 3-1.
Oh, they got it. Lovely. Right, Bournemouth win 3-1. Probably playing out for the back themselves. Bournemouth against Southampton. Neil, I mean, I kind of agree on the Burnley point that Paul's raised there. Also, the fact that they've signed a lot of players in pre-season and not many of them are actually Premier League quality, similar to what Burnley did last season.
Yeah, Bournemouth are much better than Southampton. This is a home banker for me. Yeah, like Bournemouth. A couple of disappointing results. Liverpool, but had some chances. And again, at home to Chelsea, shouldn't have lost that game. Bournemouth haven't beaten Southampton since 2016, and I think they'll win it. Southampton that day in the starting lineup had 2 Premier League winners for Liverpool. Who were the 2 players Southampton had in the starting lineup?
Could be
Last time Southampton lost at Bournemouth, 2016, and in that starting lineup were 2 players who went on to win the Premier League title for Liverpool.
Adam Lallana.
16? Virgil van Dijk.
Virgil van Dijk.
Not
and the other one, to be fair, we bought about 20 players from them.
We funded this whole run to the Premier League.
It was Virgil van Dijk and Sadio Mane were in the starting lineup.
Oh.
The last time they lost to Bournemouth.
Lallana was already at Liverpool by then, wasn't he? 2016.
There you go.
Yeah.
But this is a banker for me, and I've got a big win as well. I was going to think I've gone 4-1. I was going to go 3-1, but I've gone 4-1.
4-1 to Bournemouth. What was your? It was 3-1, wasn't it for you, Paul?
Yeah,
rounding it up. We're going to do a treble. What's your treble, Neil
Mellor?
We
started playing this because Mel's fell so behind in the other game. He created another game. He's losing at this one as well.
Yeah, I don't go for bankers. I go for a bit of value. A man of value again. I bet you get some good odds on this treble. Here you go.
On, let's have a look.
Villa's a bit of a banker. Bournemouth, obviously the banker of the weekend out of all of them. Bournemouth, Villa, and Everton. There you go. What about that for a treble? I'm not on Man City every week like Paul. No. I'm on value.
The 2.76 of the Everton home win is the value there. That's about 8.65. Paul, what's yours?
Listen, you know what this game's called? I win. And I win money. And that's what you do with it. That's the idea. Liverpool, Arsenal, Chelsea.
There you go.
Even
Liverpool,
money.
Arsenal, Chelsea.
You'd be lucky to get that. Let's see. 2.74. Not bad. Just
There
over
you go.
even money.
There you go.
1.17, 1.72, and 1.36. There you go.
It's better than having massive odds and no return.
The game's about winning. That's what it's all about. Paul Robinson, Neil Mellor, thank you once again, and we'll see you next week for more Premier League previews.